You ever noticed how, everybody has a podcast? Welcome to the introduction or promotion, as it were, for my new podcast, Podfreak. I used to do the Gift of Podcast alongside Mance Chapel, and I stopped that podcast because it just took up a lot of time at the time, and I decided now was the right time to start a podcast because I really wanted an avenue to just talk, get my thoughts out there, share my opinions on things, and in some capacity perform, because that's just been such a big part of my life for such a long time. And I think that not doing it has been causing me to slowly become less of who I am. It's probably kind of weird, probably too meta for an introduction like this, but point is I just thought it'd be good to have an avenue, and if people listen, great. If they don't, great. And since this is mostly for me, if I happen to miss a week, or there's too much noise in the background, or anything along those lines happen, it's okay, because it's just for me. It's an avenue to express myself, and I feel like that would also make it a lot more low pressure, because when you compare it to what we did with the Gift of Podcast, because that did have to be every week. There was other people relying on me. We were at the time trying to make it a thing more than, maybe not more than a hobby, but more than just an avenue for expression. We wanted as many people to listen as possible. On top of that, I won't have to watch 10 million hours of crap wrestling every week. That's not fair. The WWE is very good at what they do. Just sometimes it's too much. It's all too much. But this is going to be Podfreak. The content is going to be dealing with things like video games and movies and TV shows. It's basically going to be a show for all things nerd that I want to talk about. The main concept is going to be reviewing these things such as video games and movies and TV shows. And I'm also even going to be reviewing budget titles on the Switch that you may not have played otherwise, because I thought that would be fun. Some other reoccurring segments that are going to be there week to week is my wife asking me questions, a piece of news from the week that I viewed as interesting or cool. I'm thinking about doing a PokeRank thing where I rank all the Pokemon one by one in a style very similar to the list for all of you DDT pod fans. And maybe even a thing called Who Would Win, where I get listeners to tell me about two different people. They both suggest a person for a fight, and there's a fight between those two people, and I talk about who I think would win and why. And if I don't know them, maybe I'll look up some facts about them. I just thought that would be a fun recurring thing to do, and I thought it'd be really good to make the show very segment-based, because I thought that would make it easier to do a one-person podcast. So this is going to be coming tentatively on Wednesday, I believe June 3rd, is that it? Yeah, Wednesday, June 3rd. And hopefully weekly for the most part after that on Wednesday. This is subject to change, so please stay tuned. Once I have this set up, and that's part of the reason I'm recording this welcoming is so I can set this up, we should be on basically any podcast platform you can think of. The goal is to be on Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, the main base being Podomatic. So I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are too, and I guess I will see you on June 3rd.